The Zero Project anthem is dedicated to the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities and all its goals. Its premiere, the Zero Project Conference Vienna in February 2018. Access Israel, together with 1,100 students of the Bialik Rogozin School in Tel Aviv, learned the anthem in sign language and sent a video. The students on the sports court start signing, some of them wave flags. Inside a circular building, a singer and a choir.
If you see me, take me just the way I am. We could change the world because we understand. If we both are part of the same society, I could be me.
An audience films the performance. Singer.
You give me chances and take me by the hand. If you let me grow and if you let me be, if we all gave up our partiality, then I could be free.
The choir mingles with the audience. Everybody smiles and starts clapping. The students wave their hands to express clapping in sign language. On a white screen, a green plant with 3 leaves grows. Zero Project for a world without barriers.
Hi
So, how is everybody? The room is full again. Hooray, 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 hooray. So quickly before I begin, for those of you who don't know this green giant, I am Caroline Casey. I am a troublemaker. I'm the founder of the Valuable 500 and an ambassador to the Zero Project. And it is my job every year to be your MC. Now, we have a very full room, and it is so good to have you all back. Last year, it was really hard emceeing in this room with hardly anybody in it. But we also have our online participants. Can we all give a wave, please, to everybody online? Hello, hello, hello. Hi from Vienna. And I want to do a very quick audio description for those of you like me who are vision impaired. So, I am a 51-year-old white woman with blonde hair tied up in a ponytail, very dark black-rimmed glasses, a black turtleneck, as the Americans say, polo neck, as the Irish say, and a mint green suit. Yes, mint green. Martin Essl, I hope you're very proud of me for wearing green for the Zero Project. I was known as the Green Giant last year by Hector Minto from Microsoft. I wore a green jumpsuit, so this time I thought I'd go suit. So let's just get in the room. We're here. And you know, before these few days begin, everybody is a combination of excited, a knot in their stomach. Am I good enough? Should I be in the room? Are we doing enough? We're here. And we are. But what makes the work that we do together so important is this radical collaboration that we all believe in this room. The Zero Project and Zero Conference, most importantly, is based on collaboration, family, and friendship. It's not so much what you're going to see in the content and the panel discussions, of which there are so many. It's that you are around each other. We are all here, and we need to join the dots of all the passion and the work and the intention and the commitment that we have to creating a world where there are zero barriers for everyone, but for people with disabilities and their families. We come back here every year, and those years that we had to go virtual, that one year, it didn't stop the contagious energy of every single one of you who makes up this extraordinary light and energy to make a real change. And we want to say thank you again. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for believing. And it doesn't matter what the conference title is this year, because we all find a way, whether your speciality is independent living or ICT or political independence or accessibility, what it is you are here because you believe inclusion means all for everyone or not at all. So I want to give you some of the housekeeping rules, because there are some rules. So one of the big rules is we try to keep on time, and that means I will shout at you every now and again. But just to give you sort of the beat of the day, every morning I will bring everybody in so we can just kind of get into the room, and then we will close off every day in this room. Now, this is the biggest Zero conference that we've ever had. We have over 1,000 attendees. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot this year. So be gentle with us, okay? Because you know, for those of you who've never been to Zero before, you know that we have, yes, this is the plenary room, M1, but from the rest of the day after the plenaries, we run into parallel sessions in M2 and in M3 and the press room. And the press room this year is opposite reception as you came in. Now, we will have online in M1 and M2 and the press room, but not in M3. You know also that you don't need to book, and every session is free, you can come in and go, but because there are 1,000 of us, some of the rooms might be full. And Michael says, please don't shout at us. Please don't. We're doing our very best to make sure that we have everybody accommodated. But it does show you the importance of us trying to get there on time. Now, the other thing, for those of you who are old, sort of old sages at this conference, we used to have the Zero Project app. Well, this year, we don't have the Zero Project app, we have one better. It's called B2 Match. Now, when you registered to come to the Zero conference, you will have got an email back, and your email is what gives you access to go into the whole agenda of the conference. But it's more than that this year. B2 Match is like a matchmaker, literally. It is like TripAdvisor, and it's like booking a restaurant. So aside from the fact that you can see the agenda and choose the rooms to which you want to engage in, you might have noticed downstairs there's tables with numbers on them. So if you'd like to meet somebody who's here at the conference, because that's the best bit, it's the chats, you can send them a message, and if they accept the message, then you will be given a table with a table number that you'll be able to have a 15-minute conversation. I think that's pretty fantastic. So that is B2 Match, okay? The other thing that you need to know is on this afternoon and tomorrow afternoon, in the press room, we have the Ibero-American Conference, or part of it, but Carola will be speaking a little bit. Could you just give a shout here to Carola? Yeah. So, Martin Essl is our kind of parent of all the Zero conference, and Carola is coming up, making sure the Spanish speakers amongst us will have the Zero conference experience. So she's going to tell you a little bit more about that, but they will be also running sessions in the press room in the afternoon of today and tomorrow. Now, the other thing is, a few of you will have heard about fireside chats, right? I'm sure you'll be doing a few fireside chats. We have our little studio downstairs, and that's beside the coffee. Okay, you can see it, and if you want to, you can go and stand and watch, but they will also be online. For those of you as well who will not maybe get stuck in the security queue, they're quite grumpy in the security queue. So if you get stuck in the queue, you can be watching things on YouTube, okay? So we have a YouTube channel as well in case you're delayed as you move through. Now, food. We all need to know about the food. Okay, so as you came in, there was a voucher that you have, and that voucher is going to be given to you every day. I am holding up a tiny, it's like a business card, and that voucher is handed in for your sandwich upstairs or down below, and a bottle of water, and that's it. Now, don't take 2 sandwiches, that's a bit mean. So we just have a sandwich and a bottle of water for everyone. Later on this evening, as we close out the day, we'll have some finger food where we can have all the chats. I started off by saying the importance of family and this era of radical collaboration that we're in. And you know, every time I do that, I get really emotional because it's still an incredible thing to come back amongst people who you know have the same values as you and the same energy and kindness. This time is really important to remember that we have family members that are not with us this year who were so much part of our journey here. And as I was putting on my ludicrously green suit, I was thinking of Christina Hux-Axel, who'd been with us for so many years. I was thinking of Martin, and I was thinking of Netta, and the people in our lives who are no longer here. But their influence still continues. And so let's make the most of every moment and second that we have with each other here today. I want to also talk about translation. As you know, the Zero conference really tries to be as accessible as possible. So a few things. Audio description. If you would like to have audio description, up here on the left-hand side of the stage are headphones. And those headphones, if you use them for channel 1, you can have audio description. For induction loops, you can pick them up at the reception as when you came in. We will be having sign language interpretation remotely. I think they're there. I can't see them, but I think they are. And then over here to my right-hand side, we have the American team of sign languagers over here. So can we all remember, I say this to myself, keep it slow, because we want to acknowledge this conference is in English. And that is also something really important to say thank you to everybody for. Not everybody speaks English. And that's the first most important act of inclusion, to remind ourselves, for those of us who have the privilege to be speaking in our language, just to slow down and make sure that everybody hears and understands. I do want to acknowledge that we have 4 of our American team over here, but I have to do this for the fun. Valerie, will you stand up for a minute? Valerie is going to start. Look at her, she's wearing yellow. I just thought it'd be really cool, look at this. So we have our American team up here, if you need anything, and then anybody for anything else, just please come to the team. Now, lastly, to say we have the B2 match team around if you have any problems with the technology, and I think that'll probably be it. Now, just before we open up our opening session, every single one of you is really important here today, and we have a lot of ambassadors and important people and high-level people, okay, because everybody's important, but we don't do hierarchy in the Zero Conference. And we don't take somebody down, and we don't talk behind somebody's back. There are rules for this conference, and the rule is to be kind and to treat people the way that you would want to be treated yourself. We have to make sure that our sector together is combined powerfully and collaboratively, because there's enough hard things happening outside our sector. But there is one person that I would like to say a big hello to, and I'm not sure if he's yet in the room. And I guess the reason we want to say to him, because he's an old sage, not because he's old, but because he's a sage, and has been a dear friend to everybody, I think, in the sector, and that is Louis Gallegos. So I don't know if Louis, if you're in the room, but we want to say thank you for coming and joining us. A previous ambassador, oh, there he is. Hiya. We're delighted to have you with us. It's wonderful to have you back. Okay, so we're ready to go. As I say, we're going to have a session here, just to open it up and give you all some time to land down. And then we are going to have a youth delegation. And we're putting them center stage this year because it's so important to make sure that we have all the voices, and that younger generation coming up have a very different view of the world and very different tools and very different problems to those of us who might be 51. And after that, then we're going to go into our sections. So get onto your B2 match afterwards to see which of the panels or the sessions that you want to be involved in. But to open us up on ZeroCon23, remember, hashtag ZeroCon23. The team want us to be trending in Vienna, so that's really important. We're delighted to have back, to open up our conference, Ghada WALY, who is the Director General of the UN office in Vienna. Ghada was with us and has been with us before, but it is wonderful to have her back. And I just want to acknowledge this moment. We're back here again in this UN building, and all of the huge support that we've got from everybody within this building and within the UN. But we are particularly delighted to have the Director General with us this morning. Thank you, Ghada.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the VIC. Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues and friends, I'm so pleased to welcome the Zero Project Conference to the Vienna International Center again this year. The World Health Organization estimates that 1 in every 6 people on our planet experiences a significant disability. That is 1.3 billion people whose voices need to be heard and whose challenges need to be understood and addressed. Thanks to your efforts and those of similar civil society organizations around the world, policies and attitudes are indeed changing. Accessibility is expanding. The legal rights of persons with disabilities are being strengthened around the world. This year, we celebrate 10 years of fruitful partnership between the United Nations in Vienna and the Essl Foundation. Mr. Essl, I would like to thank you and your family for your enduring dedication to supporting persons with disabilities. I share your passion and I share your commitment. Since the UN in Vienna first hosted the Project Zero conference in 2012, it has grown to become one of the world's largest gatherings for disability inclusion. Over the years, more than 5,000 people from over 100 countries have come together to share ideas and good practices, to network and to collaborate. I am proud of our long-standing support for your important work. The UN in Vienna has also benefited from our partnership. The Zero Project provided us with valuable insights and advice as we developed our action plan on disability inclusion for UNODC. And hosting this conference has helped make our own events more accessible. I look forward to continuing our excellent cooperation. Me complace saber que la Conferencia Zero Project para América Latina y el mundo hispanoparlante se lleve a cabo aquí por primera vez. Bienvenidos a Vienna. Ms. Rubia DURAN, thank you to the Fundación Descúbreme for making this happen. The twin themes for this year's conference, independent living and political participation, underscore that disability rights are human rights and that human rights are disability rights. Disabilities are a natural part of human diversity. People with disabilities have the same rights as everybody else and deserve additional support to exercise these rights. 186 countries have acknowledged this by ratifying the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. The Convention underscores that all persons with disabilities are entitled to enjoy all human rights and to exercise all fundamental freedoms. With education, skills, appropriate services, and support, persons with disabilities can take charge of their lives and fully participate in social and political life. They know best what they need, so they should have choices and control in their everyday lives. Independent living means having choices around housing, physical care, education, and employment. Full access to services, public facilities, and transport are needed. All this requires special attention from governments and adequate resources. The aim should be integration, not isolation. Yet the World Health Organization estimates that 40% of people with disabilities lack the necessary assistance to live independently. This gap is even larger in less developed countries. Globally, only 10% of people who need assistive technologies have access to them. In low and middle income countries, high costs and gaps in healthcare infrastructure put these technologies out of reach for those who need them most. So I look forward to hearing from Ms. Chiira about his work with Africa's first assistive technology accelerator. Dear participants, the ideas and solutions for supporting independent living that you will be sharing at this conference are incredibly important. I hope many are geared toward women with disabilities who face double challenges in their daily lives. Women in general have less access to education, are employed at lower levels, and are more likely to live in poverty. They also face gender-based violence. In many societies, women face additional barriers from stereotypes, biases, and cultural traditions. Women also tend to live longer than men. All of these factors contribute to higher rates of disability among women, especially in less developed countries. We need to hear the perspectives of everyone in the disability community, regardless of age or gender. They need to be able to advocate for themselves to get the support they need. Building networks is one way to amplify their voices. This conference is a good example. Increasing political representation is also critical to giving persons with disabilities a say in policies and decisions that affect their lives. Participating in political life, voting, running for and holding office, these rights belong to everyone. We all benefit when persons with disabilities participate in government and in civil society. They can be powerful advocates for a more inclusive, accessible, and equitable future for us all. I know this from my own personal experience when I was Egypt's Minister of Social Solidarity before joining the UN. One of my priorities as minister was passing the country's first comprehensive disabilities law in 2018, which expanded the disabilities officially recognized in Egypt from 4 to 13. I worked very closely with people with disabilities, their families, and their communities to get this law passed. I'm proud to see some of the NGOs I worked with present here today. As a result of this law, millions of children and adults are gradually gaining access to the services and support they need. This remains one of my proudest achievements. Ladies and gentlemen, building inclusive societies takes a joint effort by government, civil society, business, and academia. The United Nations and other international organizations can play an enabling role. I'm so pleased that the UN Partnership on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities is one of this year's Zero Project Award winners. Recognized for its inclusive work in creating an election policy toolkit for people with intellectual disabilities. In recent years, the Zero Project has recognized several other members of the UN family for their support for persons with disabilities, including the World Intellectual Property Organization, the International Telecommunication Union, and UNICEF. Here in Vienna, we are making good progress on implementing our action plan on disability inclusion for UNODC, which I launched in 2020. We will continue to ensure that we mainstream disability in our work and in how we work. This approach is reflected in the UNODC strategy for 2021 to 2025 and in UNODC strategic visions for Africa and for Latin America and the Caribbean. UNODC's field offices in more than 90 countries have begun mainstreaming disability inclusion in technical assistance, facilitating national consultations, engaging persons with disabilities, and providing targeted assistance to people with disability. This is critical, as some of 80% of persons with disabilities live in developing countries. They are integrating disability issues into work on topics like countering human trafficking, preventing violent extremism, protecting the rights of persons with disabilities in the criminal justice system, and enhancing their access to justice. Dear participants, we all have the right to choose our own path in life without barriers. Every one of you here today is helping to achieve this vision. I thank the Zero Project for bringing us together to exchange ideas and share effective solutions for independent living and political participation. By working together, we can speed up progress towards creating an inclusive and accessible world where no one is left behind. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director General. We have a video because Johannes RAUCH is not able to join us here today, and he's the Minister for Social Affairs and Health. But because they are so committed and have been and be huge support here to us in Vienna, the Austrian government, he has sent through a video. So just please your attention for a few minutes.
Geschätzte Damen und Herren, die Zero Project Conference hat sich zu einer äußerst wichtigen Veranstaltung für Menschen mit Behinderungen und die in diesem Bereich relevantesten Stakeholder entwickelt. Deshalb freue ich mich sehr, dass sie jedes Jahr in Österreich abgehalten wird. Dafür möchte ich allen Verantwortlichen und Beteiligten meinen großen Dank aussprechen. Die internationale Ausrichtung dieser Veranstaltung ermöglicht einen Blick über den Tellerrand auf innovative Projekte und Best Practices. Dabei schafft es die Konferenz stets am Puls der Zeit zu sein. Die Themen der heutigen Konferenz: selbstbestimmte Lebensführung, politische Teilhabe und Informations- und Kommunikationstechnologie sind höchst aktuell und von besonderer Bedeutung für Menschen mit Behinderungen. Es handelt sich dabei auch um essentielle Grundsätze der UN-Behindertenrechtskonvention, die Selbstbestimmung und Achtung der individuellen Autonomie des Menschen sowie seiner Freiheit, eigene Entscheidungen zu treffen. Die Umsetzung und Verwirklichung eben dieser Grundsätze und damit die Sicherstellung umfassender Teilhabe von Menschen mit Behinderungen in sämtlichen Lebensbereichen ist mir als Sozialminister ein ganz besonderes Anliegen. Vor diesem Hintergrund freut es mich besonders, dass es gelungen ist, für die Jahre 2023 und 2024 jeweils 50 Millionen Euro für Projekte zur Umsetzung der UN-Behindertenrechtskonvention zur Verfügung zu stellen. Diese Mittel werden in einem ersten Schritt in die Harmonisierung und Verbesserung der persönlichen Assistenz investiert, wodurch besonders eine verbesserte selbstständige Lebensführung und umfassende Teilhabe von Menschen mit Behinderungen sichergestellt werden soll. Selbstverständlich muss Menschen mit Behinderungen auch die Teilhabe an der demokratischen Willensbildung gleichberechtigt mit anderen ermöglicht werden. Der Nationale Aktionsplan Behinderung enthält deshalb in einem eigenen Unterkapitel eine Reihe von Maßnahmen, die beispielsweise die vollumfängliche Barrierefreiheit von Wahlen sicherstellen sollen. Weitere zentrale Voraussetzungen für Selbstbestimmung und Teilhabe sind entsprechende Barrierefreiheitsbestimmungen, und zwar umfassend und somit auch digital. Aus diesem Grund wollen und werden wir auch hier rasch längst notwendige Schritte zur Verbesserung setzen. So soll bereits im ersten Quartal des heurigen Jahres ein neues Barrierefreiheitsgesetz mit verpflichtenden gesetzlichen Barrierefreiheitsanforderungen im Parlament behandelt und beschlossen werden. Dieses zukunftsweisende Gesetz zur Barrierefreiheit von wichtigen Produkten und Dienstleistungen im Bereich Informations- und Kommunikationstechnologie wie Computer, Smartphones, Bankomaten, Fahrkartenautomaten und E-Banking wird besonders für blinde, sehbehinderte und gehörlose Personen im Alltag deutliche Verbesserungen bringen. Auch Menschen mit Lernbehinderungen und ältere Menschen werden einen Nutzen aus diesem neuen Gesetz ziehen können. Zentral für eine selbstbestimmte Lebensführung ist auch die berufliche Teilhabe von Menschen mit Behinderung. Aus diesem Grund wird mein Ressort nach 310 Millionen Euro im Jahr 2022 im heurigen Jahr bis zu 340 Millionen Euro für Maßnahmen zur Verbesserung der beruflichen Teilhabe von Menschen mit Behinderungen zur Verfügung stellen. Abschließend möchte ich mich noch bei Herrn Kommerzialrat Martin Essl, der Essl Foundation sowie dem gesamten Zero Project Team für die beeindruckende Organisation der Konferenz bedanken. Ich wünsche Ihnen allen eine inspirierende Konferenz mit vielen interessanten Gesprächen und neuen Ideen.
I'm going to take a second just before I introduce Martin. It's often easy to come up with great ideas, to look at problems, and nearly to keep looking at problems, and then come up with an idea or a project or initiative. The ideas, they come, but sticking to them and growing them and scaling them and not giving up is often really hard. And I want to acknowledge Martin Essl and the team in the Zero Conference and Zero Project for the constant, committed work they have done for nearly, is it 13 or 14 years now? 14 years we're here? 14 years. Sometimes we all get so excited about the new thing, right? But never underestimate the power of building on the thing that we know that works. And what Martin and his team have always believed in is the importance of every single one of our contributions added together, every single one of the best practices and policies. And when we bring them together, that's the power. Because there's not one company, not one government, not one person who can do any of this alone. It's the bringing together of it. And when we started this so long ago, it feels, when I was not even in my 40s, we were in a room and there were 280 people, and we said, what would it be like one day when there was a waiting list with over 1,000 people wanting to get into this room? And you did that. And you did that, and that's the point. It's that we keep coming back. Every single one of our work is enough. We are enough. Every one of us is enough. But in this, we see that we are enough for everyone else. And the head or the parent of this huge global family, this conference which has become the home for so many now, is the amazing Martin Essl and his family and his team. But I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, Martin Essl.
Thank you, Caroline, and a very warm welcome to all of you here in the premises of the UN. in Vienna, but also seeing us online. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy and thankful that you all are with us today. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear partners, friends, and members of the worldwide network of the Zero Project. I bid you dear welcome. It is a real honor to gather in person again for the Zero Project Conference 2023 at the United Nations in Vienna after such turbulent years through the pandemic, and I missed you deeply. And to our viewers online, we are delighted that you are joining the Zero Project Conference as a hybrid event, broadcast around the world, live and accessible. I would like to express my gratitude to see so many familiar faces, but also to welcome new participants. For all of you who don't see me, I'm Martin Essl, the initiator of the Zero Project. I'm a white, tall male, 60 years of age with some gray hairs, wearing a dark suit, a white shirt, and a green tie as a color of the Zero Project, of course. This Zero Project Conference 2023 truly would not have been possible without the outstanding cooperation of the United Nations, as we celebrate 10 years of collaboration. And therefore, I would like to especially thank Mrs. Ghada WALY, Director General of the United Nations Office in Vienna and Executive Director of the UN Office on Drugs and Crime, for the excellent working relations that we have developed over the past decade. Thank you so much. Dear friends, yesterday we joined innovators together with the Austrian Parliament to celebrate the kick-off event of the Zero Project Conference in the newly renovated barrier-free halls of the Austrian Parliament, where each of the 5 political parties represented in our parliament presented one Zero Project awardee with his or her innovation and pledged to support the introduction in Austria. But the true superstars of the Zero Project Conference are always the innovators who are inspired to change the world, striving for a world with zero barriers. I'm looking forward to many activities we have planned, and I'd like to announce some of the amazing new opportunities we developed this year. In the coming 3 days, we will present 71 innovative selected innovations from 42 countries, which focus on solutions for self-determined life, political participation, and information and communication technologies. We are celebrating the very first ever Zero Project Youth Delegation. Here we are bringing young persons with disabilities from around the world to share their experience through media and to inspire innovation in the next generation. Let us give them a big applause. The Zero Project Impact Transfer with our partners Descúbreme, Ashoka, GIZ and Atos, bringing together 12 fellows who have a detailed strategy program, meeting potential scaling partners and present their solutions. Indeed, through our partnership with Fundación Descúbreme, we have the honor of hosting jointly the Zero Project Conference for Latin America in the Spanish-speaking world here in the premises of the United Nations this year. Carola will tell you more in some seconds. As if Zero Project would not be global enough, we feel honored to welcome a large delegation from potential partners and innovators from India, as we explore a new regionalization of the Zero Project mission. And we are so excited to introduce the first ever Zero Project Technology Forum, where renowned international corporations, as well as organizations such as UniCredit Bank Austria, the World Health Organization, but also Microsoft, Google, Apple, Atos, and others will get the exclusive first look at innovations ready to be implemented on a global scale. And last but not least, in these days and age, removing barriers to accessing arts and culture is of great importance. An artwork is created during the Zero Project Conference called Inclusion by the Serbian graffiti artist Jana Danilovic. You will find her in action during the Zero Project Conference next to our reception downstairs. We will present the result together with a tactile pattern on Friday. Finally, we are happy to present a publication of the very first inclusive museums guide in Austria, both in paper and through an app. It improves clear and easy access to art in 136 museums. As the world begins to open its doors to the public in this post-pandemic time, we seek to inspire museums globally by demonstrating innovative approaches toward accessibility and inclusion. With this idea in mind, let me end with an appeal. Let us be inspired. If we all take just one idea, one solution, one innovation from here and implement this in our own sphere of influence, we will come closer to our goal of an independent life and political participation for all. Thank you for being with us from around the world. I wish you wonderful and inspiring 3 days. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Martin. One of the things, the best example to see how we become a positive contagion is I'm going to introduce you to Carola now, who's going to speak to us. But I remember first meeting you when you came here, and now look at you. You have taken over the Spanish-speaking world with Zero, right? So that is how this magic works, when we meet each other and we support each other and we give each other the permission to shine. So, Carola, we would love you to speak about everything that you are doing about spreading the Zero project into the Spanish-speaking world. So a huge round of applause, please, for Carola Rubia.
Thank you very much, Caroline. I have to say that it is an honor to see this room full of people. I mean, as Caroline said before, we needed to see each other, we needed to feel each other, and I think that's what we are achieving today. So thank you very much for allowing me and allowed our group to be part of this day. Well, good morning to everyone. As Caroline said, my name is Carola Rubia, and I work in Fundación Descúbreme. Sorry that if my sign language is not good enough, but I'm learning. I think I owe you all to learn another language in which we can all communicate and we can develop a world without barriers. We have been working together for 4 years. We have been trying to reduce the breach between 21 countries from the Spanish community. And that's why we decide, and we are very grateful, Your Honor, to allow us to do the Zero Project Conference and also to Martin for the Spanish community here. We needed to feel each other, we needed to see each other, and we do believe that the Spanish community has a lot to offer from its culture. Today, after 4 years, we'd like to express that we are fully committed, and we will sign an MOU with Martin later on at the opening ceremony of the Zero Project Conference for Latin America for the next 4 years. We will continue reaching more organizations for the Spanish community so everyone can be involved in Zero Project. Last but not least, I would like to invite you all, 12:30 today in the best room, we have prepared a very special show for you. This time, I think it's tango. So you are very welcome to share with us the opening of our conference at 12:30 press room. And those who cannot be, who hasn't received at the reception the calendar, we have prepared this very special calendar. Those draws have been done with people from Chile with disability, and it's a calendar that we prepare every year, the last 13 years. But today we wanted to share a small one so you can take it. We thought an idea how you can take it home. So please, if you don't have it, go to the reception area and pick one for you. Thank you very much. I would like to take the opportunity to thank you, my team. The Descúbreme team is here, and also a great partner that had been working with us, which is Grupo Social 11, that is today has a huge delegation, and it has been helping us these 4 years in approaching and make it Zero Project a world without barriers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carola. Just so you know, if we can't all fit into the press room today for tango, where I'm definitely going to be there, is we have Spanish dancing tomorrow, I think, at 8:40 in the morning. Yeah, so we sometimes start the mornings off with a bit of yoga, a bit of meditation. Tomorrow it's dancing. So 8:40 here tomorrow to give a life to the room. So everybody's going to pack in at 12:30 today.
Yeah, and tomorrow is also around 12 o'clock.
So we've got 3 lots of dancing.
No, just 2.
Just
Today
2, okay.
And tomorrow.
Okay, all right, well, get your dancing shoes on. And I think that is, we all do love a bit of a dance, so thank you so much. Now, to end our opening panel, we are delighted to have Bernard Chiira here from the organization Innovate Now. And Bernard, before you begin, what I want to say is the now part. Innovate Now. We are doing it now, right? No more talking, no more dreaming, we're doing it now. So I think that's that sense of urgency and this huge opportunity we have at the moment. We've got to grab it and go and do committed action. So thank you, Bernard. Finish off our opening panel. So huge round of applause, please, for Bernard.
Thank you very much. Good morning. It is a pleasure to be on this table, and I will tell you a short, sweet story and maybe challenge you a little bit at the end of how we built the largest innovation ecosystem in Africa for assistive technology. My name is Bernard Chiira. I am Kenyan. I'm 37 years old. Today I'm wearing a red wine sweater, white shirt, and I'm seated next to Martin here. I'm not at the podium. So today we live in a world that is quickly and rapidly evolving. Our challenges are compounded by a past that is full of barriers and a future that is coming at us quicker than we can react. You've all heard that we are living now in the 4th industrial revolution. So before we can even think about what the future is going to be like for persons with disabilities, we have to think about now. So Innovate Now was started around 3.5 years ago by the Global Disability Innovation Hub, who I was privileged to meet in the most awkward way, because I can tell you before 2018, I was not working in the disability space. In my heart, I've always had an ambition that as a person with disability, born with osteogenesis imperfecta or brittle bone disease, and coming from a family where 4 siblings out of 7 had disabilities, I knew what it was like to grow and live with a disability from childhood, and the many barriers we now have to remove for today and into the future. And I began my career and ended up in technology and business, running a business incubator in one of the leading universities in Kenya. But around 3.5 years ago, something interesting happened in my life, and I met my senior colleague, Catherine Holloway, who is in this room, from the Global Disability Innovation Hub, and she came to Kenya with a mission that we can find ways to innovate, think different, act different, and lead new ways of taking assistive technology to those who need it most in Africa. And she mentioned 2 words that really changed my life, and that was disability innovation. Now, for those of us who come from either worlds, either the disability movement or the innovation world of entrepreneurship and startups, rarely do those two meet. And this, for me, was the place I knew that I had found my path to lead the establishment of Africa's first assistive technology accelerator, and we launched it in partnership. And this is the spirit of this conference, this table. And I want you to ask yourself, what will you do with this platform? What will you do with the pleasure of the person sitting next to you to drive our common agenda forward? So we started with the premise that if we can innovate to solve some of the world's biggest problems, like access to finance and energy in Kenya, if we can find ways to bank 90% of populations that were unbanked in less than a decade, then we must include persons with disabilities. We must unleash this power of innovation and technology to solve for access to assistive technology. So as you may all know, assistive technology makes life possible for us who have disabilities. So it is very much to us next to food, shelter, and clothing, isn't it? But unfortunately, markets in developing countries have not yet been developed to take these products to those who need it. We lack distribution. We lack financing mechanisms. And this is the work that we've been doing by inviting entrepreneurs on the table. That is the story of the Innovate Now. I will be speaking about this in a panel tomorrow, but I want to finish by saying this. This is a time to turn on the turbo. It is not the time to slow down. This is the time to think exponentially about meeting the need for assistive technology. It is time to do more together, and I invite you to do more together with everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bernard. Okay, so we have the opening panel, and I think all of our panelists are saying that this is now, we're like an unstoppable force, a contagion, a positive contagion that nobody can ignore, and it is a time to act now. And as I ask our panelists to step down, I want to just finish this opening part of today's conference with that extension into the fact that everybody has a voice. And the Zero Project have had a youth delegation, But this year, we are putting it front and center. It's not words, it's action. And we have two of our youth delegation here with us this morning as part of our opening ceremony. And I'm going to ask Sumita from the Zero Project team to come up and just give you a sort of an idea of what's happening here, because this isn't just a show and tell. They're not just coming up to speak. There is a deep program and investment in the Zero Project to ensure everybody has a voice at the table. So can I please ask Sumita and Charlotte and Khalil to come up and join me here? A round of applause, please, for everybody. I also want to let you know it's not often the easiest to speak, right, at the beginning. So remember, these are friends, guys. They're absolute friends. There's no need to be nervous. But also, the Director General, before I hand over to Sumita, the Director General would like to have some opening remarks, and I'm just going to invite her to the podium. Also, I want to acknowledge, thank you, Director General, for wearing green. I appreciate it. It's you and me. We keep talking about youth and the importance of youth. But we really need to see youth at the table with us, with their opinions, their ideas, and their beliefs. So, Director General, if you give us your remarks on the importance of the youth in this Zero conference.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Casey. And very happy to welcome the youth delegation for the first time at the Zero Project. I do want to welcome them all here for the first time at the UN office at Vienna, as well as those joining us online from around the globe. The global representation of the youth delegation is truly inspiring, with participants from 4 continents, spanning Latin America and Africa to East Asia and beyond. As we celebrate today's innovators and explore the future of disability and youth activism, let me remind you of a young pioneer from history. In 1841, Louis Braille, the inventor of the Braille writing system, said that people with disabilities must be treated as equals, and communication is the way we can bring this about. He was just 15 when he developed his idea that revolutionized communication for the deaf-blind and which is now used in over 130 languages. I am glad that one of the Zero Project Award winners is an initiative promoting the Scripper alphabet based on an extension of the Braille system. Such innovation shows how the past can inform and inspire young people in shaping the future. He was only 15 when he introduced this innovation that has changed the life for many, many people. Today, the online sphere and social media make it easier to communicate, share ideas, and build a digital bridge for young people with disabilities. They can access learning resources, take online courses, and participate in political and social debates. The UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities recognized this potential, but it also found that young people with disabilities face specific barriers online. Many websites lack the design requirements to ensure universal accessibility. Terms and conditions, which provide important information about how our personal data is used, can be overcomplicated and challenging for young people with an intellectual disability. Ensuring an open, accessible, and secure digital future for all is vital to address these challenges. Barriers are not limited to the online world, however. Offline, young people with disabilities continue to face physical barriers, communication barriers, and employment barriers. In 2021, UNICEF assessed that nearly 240 million children living with disabilities, or 1 in 10 children, were denied basic human rights. They were almost 50% less likely to have attended school or have basic reading and numeracy skills. Education is key to develop the talent and ambitions of young people, to help them fulfill their aspirations and build their own future. Lack of access to education, voting information, and mobility support can exclude young people with disabilities from social and political life entirely. Deprived of opportunities, they may fall into isolation. I'm pleased that this year's Zero Project Award winners include the political leadership course for young people in Africa, Asia, and Ukraine, as well as a Young Leaders program in Australia. Investing in the political leaders of the future starts by promoting opportunities for all, especially the young and disabled, so that they may fulfill the principle of nothing about us without us. This enables them to influence policies that affect their everyday lives, Mental health, too, must be a priority. Children with disabilities are 51% more likely to feel unhappy and 41% more likely to feel discriminated against. Discrimination feeds social marginalization and isolation. Such isolation can fuel mental health problems and substance use. UNODC Youth Integrity Project connects young people